Welcome to Turning It Up, a mommy-daughter team that loves people and thrill in finding and sharing ideas, tips, and tools for the everyday person to truly find themselves and live the extraordinary lives they're meant to live. I am Heather Christensen, along with my daughter, Kiara Bowden, and our special guest we are so excited about, Todd Christensen. And we are excited that you are here with us today. Please let us know who you are in the comments. And if you haven't yet, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe. So, Kiara, how was your week?
It was good. How was yours?
It was really good. Had a very productive week, and Todd and I were just getting along great, unless Todd says differently.
You were getting along great. I'm glad to hear that.
I'm not sleeping on the couch. This is good.
I don't know if everyone wants to hear this personal stuff. I'm glad that you guys had a good week. Well, hopefully our listeners had a good week too. I hope they enjoyed working through the meditation, and hopefully they're able to do it daily and find answers about who you are and what you are meant to do from the questions asked in the meditation. So if you haven't already, please comment with your experiences, tell us who you are, and let us know if you have any questions or challenges with it. But this week we are super excited because this episode actually toggles onto our previous video about finding your purpose for your life. We are confident that if you decide to take this challenge today, that our special guest, Todd, my dad, I feel weird calling him Todd, so is going to talk about, then you will be so much closer to finding your purpose in life, and just that much closer to living your extraordinary life. So I get to introduce him. Welcome, Dad. He is the founder and owner of Your Life, Your Team, a consulting and coaching company that specializes in helping businesses and individuals be the best that they can be. So a little bit about him. He loves a good joke. I know this more than anyone, especially dad jokes, a sparring conversation, thought-provoking books, a challenging game of golf. I would say that above all else, and will take advantage of any opportunity to surround himself with great people and delicious food. His love for people and desire to see them succeed led him to a lifetime of leadership training, coaching, and development. He loves sharing the analogy that everyone lights up the room they are in, some when they enter and others when they leave. This guy is all about helping people light up the room when they enter. In fact, he wants everyone to feel like they have to wear shades because their future is just that bright. For over 20 years, he has traveled and lived worldwide, developing leaders and high-performing teams globally. He has worked with top executives in the world's largest oil company and has also enjoyed working with entrepreneurs and small business owners. He has seen firsthand that one of the key characteristics that separate great leaders from mediocre managers, entrepreneurs, and business owners is the work that they are willing to put into self-development to be significant and to become their best version. Only then can they surround themselves with the right team of people to want to struggle for a shared vision. He is also the author of
That's a drum roll.
The Be Significant Challenge, Pay It Forward to Find Your Purpose in Life. We are so excited about this book because it goes right along with what we've been talking about. So, Dad, you are the founder of Your Life, Your Team. What exactly is the company, and why that title? Is there meaning behind the title? I assume there.
A good question. I'm excited to be here with my two favorite girls. And yes, I'm prejudiced, but you're still my two favorite, even if I was not prejudiced. So thank you for having me.
I won't tell
So,
JJ that we're your two.
Two favorite girls on this Zoom meeting.
Yes, there we go. Absolutely. So, anyway, so yeah, Your Life, Your Team really came about. I love the phrase when you look at life and dealing with people 20 years is life is a full contact sport. And you get knocked down and knocked around. And so came up with Your Life, Your Team, realizing the people who are successful in life are the ones that improve their life, that are continual lifelong learners. And we also know that people aren't going to be able to accomplish great things or leave a legacy just by themselves. It takes a team. And so the concept again is just we help people develop their life to be better individuals, to achieve their purpose and I guess their full purpose. And then we help them understand how to find the right people to come around them as a team to continue that purpose, right? Move forward and make a difference in the world. So that is kind of what Your Life, Your Team is about, and the purpose. Anything with developing people and teams to be better and make the world a better place.
I love that. I think it goes right along with what we've been talking about is how we need each other, and our purpose has a lot to do with how we're serving other people. And when you surround yourself with a good team, it's a symbiotic relationship. It's not just them doing for you, it's you doing for them as well. And so I think it's a great support that way. We are really excited about your visit today, Todd, because we think that your challenge that you're kicking off is going to do so much for anyone who will pick up the gauntlet, so to speak. But one last quick question we would like you to answer for our viewers in case they would like to know a bit more, and information that we think would be a valuable asset to have in their back pocket if the opportunity ever came up. Besides consulting businesses, you run programs called Golf Mind, Sales Mind, and Life Mind. We know the Life Mind well, Kiara and I do, because that's what we use with our clients. But for the viewers, would you like to expound on these other programs?
Sure, I'd love to expound. Again, all of them titled Mind, right? Golf Mind, Sales Mind, Life Mind. And in the 20 years working with a lot of top executives around the world, I saw something very interesting with most of them is they would get to a certain level. All of a sudden these self-sabotaging thoughts would enter into their mind, and sometimes they'd blow up their career. Other times they would just do things and it's like, I don't know why I just did what I did. I know better. And started to find that there was things like imposter syndrome and these limiting beliefs, and that they'd been programmed to believe something different, even though they were trying to lead this team and do these great things. And not too long ago, heard a great example, great story. Sorry, we're going to go on a story now. So, but it's about an experiment with hockey. And I don't know if you've talked about the hockey. Have you ever told the hockey story?
No.
I know I shared that with you, but it was fascinating, right? So you know how violent hockey is, okay? And people beating each other up. And when you beat somebody up, you go into the hot box, right? And you have to sit there for a certain amount of time until you're allowed out of the penalty box to get back and play. And so they did an experiment trying to see how can we get people in the box, out the box faster, and see if they can kind of change their demeanor and the way they're thinking. And so literally what happened, if you did something that got you sent to the penalty box, you're already irritated, right? But you had to put this device on you that would hook to your ear, measure your heartbeat and your HRV, and until you got this box that you're holding in your hand to turn green to say, okay, you're calm and peaceful, you could not come out of that box again. So yeah, these mad hockey players in this penalty box sitting there trying to breathe and do all these things, right, to turn it green so they can go out and play. The interesting thing about this study is when they started asking how they did when they left the box and they could turn this light green, right, and settle down. The comments were, wow, as I got out there, I saw more ice than I ever saw before. I could see the plays developing sooner than I normally could see. Things would kind of slow down. I love some of the work and flow, right? As if you're so focused, it's like everything's slow motion, everything's coordinating together. And so these hockey players, by going through this process of what we call getting the heart in coherence, right, came out and were performing at high levels, which we want high performing teams to work at, even in corporate companies, employee engagement, all that kind of stuff. So there was immediately a whole lot of things saying, wait, we can take this information, which is very powerful, which is in the mind. Truly, it comes from the heart, but we think of it at the mind, right? And we can literally change lives. I know there's a couple big companies that use this with their executives that fly around the world. So when they get off a 10-hour plane ride and they go right to the corporate room and they're leading big meetings where there's big budgets, a lot discussed, right? They've got them in this coherence so that they can think clearly, perform at their best, and have that peak performance. And so we've been able to capture this with tons of research, things that we're doing that way. And obviously I started Golf Mind because, I just want to learn to play golf a little bit better. I have a slight passion for golf, and I thought this would be perfect because this is how you get athletes in the zone, keep them in the zone. And the same with Sales Mind, right? It's not necessarily how slick of a salesperson are, but if you don't believe in yourself and the product and you have your mind in the right place, you repel people. So if we can use the same thing to get salespeople to engage and get people to want to talk with them, right? Because their mind and their heart's in the right place, it doubles, triples their sales and makes a huge difference that way. And we can see different patterns all the way around. So long story short, we take the core of this, realizing that people are programmed from 0 to 7, and we do things and we have limiting beliefs and all that. And we go through fantastic process over several weeks that retrains us, helps us to be better. And again, that's part of your life, right? help you be a better person. And the better person you are, and the more you grow your team, you start to attract higher, better quality people on your team, right? You can accomplish a lot more, and there's a lot more synergy around that. So, long story short, yes, that's kind of where we are. I'm excited about the programs, and you've seen some of the testimonials come in from LifeMind, how it's changing people's thoughts, just the cool things that they're doing. Life is very different for them now as they look through that new lens, and it's flat exciting and rewarding. Excited about what's happening that way.
Well, I love the fact that average everyday people, whether they're working in a job or they're higher level, or, they're at home, they're an executive at home over their children.
Absolutely.
That's a nice way to put it. Where's the money of an executive?
The most
Well,
important executive job of all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Well, the thing is though, is I don't want to diminish that at all. And maybe the executive over the home is a very important role, because even though, they may say, oh, I'm a mom, or I'm a stay-at-home wife, or things like that, their role is significant, but they also have a community purpose in life, as well as with their children, and that is part of surrounding yourself with that team too. You have friends, you have neighbors, and you have influence with those people around you, and they have influence with you. So I really love this thought of being able to get your heart into coherence, so that you can make better decisions, connect your mind and heart. But I also love the fact that you can help other people connect to their mind and heart, or connect their mind to their heart. And when you guys are all in coherence, when a group is in coherence, they can be part of that oneness. I love that thought.
I read something the other day that being a mom is the equivalent to having 2.5 full-time jobs. Like,
Yeah, I think mom thought it was 5 jobs with you and JJ.
well, I mean, being the mother of a disabled child and an unruly teenager is more than that.
And a husband that's worth 5 childs. But anyway.
Hey, sir, let's talk about yourselves, because you guys were absolutely amazing. I love being with you all of my life. Well, not all of my life, but a good amount. 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we love this stuff because we know it's also scientifically backed up, like what you were saying, Todd. There are lots of studies on this. With research, we know that it works. So on to the book. Todd, would you mind telling us about this book and why you wrote it, and what is the significance?
Well, it's funny. I started out writing another book, right, that I'm currently just finishing up, about 3 keys on developing relationships that get results. As I was thinking of going through that process, I really just kept coming over and over again that the first book I really needed to write, and help me write that first book, obviously, was this one, Pay It Forward, to find your purpose in life. And I think a lot of it I started to get from John Maxwell. He wrote a book called Be Significant, just this little book, but John Maxwell got powerful things, and his hundreds of books are how many he's written that way.
Now,
And
John Maxwell, sorry to interrupt you. John Maxwell, he is what, for our listeners who may not be?
John Maxwell started out as a preacher, I believe out of California, the Enjoy group, if I remember right, and then started prolifically writing a whole lot of books, but have obviously the slant Christian based in there, but probably I would put him at least the top 5 in the world as far as leadership gurus, understanding that. There's several people who think he's the number one in the world. You read his books, the first one, anyway, a lot of great books out there, but they changed my life and made a difference 30 years ago when I started to know who he was. So whenever I can pick up one of his new books, I love to read it. I love to see where he's going, and you can see over his years, and the older he gets, the subjects that he's focusing more on that are important to him through his many, many years of leadership and what he's done that way. So this book, Be Significant, hit a great time because we're in the middle of COVID. We're living in Saudi Arabia, Heather and myself, right? And it's not a free country. It's a kingdom, so things run kind of differently there, right? When they lock you down to the house or to your compound, and you have to have a special paper just to get out of the compound. There's a lot to it on how they did that was very different than you find in the US as we're going. Leading a group of a bunch of people who were a lot of Filipinos at that time, and working with them in a religious group that were all around the Middle East, you could see the terror, because a lot of them were nurses, the front line. We didn't know a whole lot about the virus yet. They were scared that they could lose their life. There was just a whole lot of emotions going on, and you could see the toll in our group just struggling that way. And you could see, you just feel the energy drained. Inspired by reading this book and then playing it myself, I thought, okay, so what if every day I quit worrying about myself, right? And I focused on one person who God wanted me to, that I could just reach out, add value to that person, and make a difference in that person's life. It could be as simple as just smiling and carrying a conversation, something I don't think is huge, but life-changing to that person. But if I follow God's promptings and listen to that, the promise is, right, that I'll kind of forget myself. And so we kind of put that test and then had a little gratitude journal saying, what am I grateful for today that I learned, and write a little bit about that process. So it only took probably 4 or 5 days, and I was starting to kind of whistle around the house again. Life wasn't near as bad or terrible. I was like, wait a minute, things have changed. It was dramatic, but it wasn't. It's also like, wait a minute. And I thought, what if we could do a 30-day challenge, involve all those who wanted to be involved, and instead of focused on our troubles and sorrows and things we're going through, help others through it? Would that make a difference? And it did not take long before the group caught on, and you could see a total different attitude. You see an attitude of gratitude, right? Is they were grateful for the experiences, even though that they're hard on what they're learning. Building relationships, and this really ties into the new book that I'm doing, right? How do you build long-term relationships that make a difference and help you, again, reach your purpose? And so it kind of tied nicely together. And that is kind of where this came from. If you do this 30 days, I find it's interesting. If we injure ourselves, right, if there's a physical injury, we literally have to focus on ourselves and take the medicine or the therapy or whatever it is to get better that way. But when it comes to the soul and its injury, it's exact opposite. The real only way to heal those injuries are going out and helping other people. And as funny as it seems, as different as it seems, this truly is a way to heal your soul, get you more in tune, understand. And I guarantee over 30 days, if you're praying and looking, you'll find trends, and you'll find things that you're asked to do, to share, right? That you start to find, oh, I think I have a purpose or a calling in this area where I can change lives, make a difference. And you start to really see, if you take what God gave you, pay it forward, right? So you're paying forward the gifts that God gave you, give that to others. You will find your purpose. Some of it might be helping people, right? That might be a purpose. Others will be a lot more specific on, wow, this talent makes a difference and I can focus on this talent. So that is the purpose for the book, what inspired me, and it still makes a difference. And I love hearing from people, wow, this is what happened today. But it's not about me sharing how I help somebody else. It's about, wow, it's helping my soul. I'm happier, I'm better, I can feel the healing inside. And there's hope. I'm more excited to get out of bed. There's hope that, yeah, there is a bright future for you that way. So we lose that a lot of time, I think, especially when we're focused on ourselves, where it's very easy through some of these times that we're struggling. So that was the purpose for the book.
Thank you. Did you notice with this experiment that you did with the group, did you notice any of them, any of their talents starting to shine?
So it was kind of interesting, working with a Filipino community. That they love karaoke, and they'll karaoke anytime that they can. But one of the things that I really noticed was we started having some more parties. They're like, we need to do some more Zoom parties because nobody can leave, right? But we can have some fun and sing over Zoom and do. And so you could literally see from the beginning, and I don't know if you could nail the talents exactly, but you could see the friendships and relationships much stronger. You could see that people that were on the fringe were not on the fringe anymore, right? They were brought into the group because they were feeling people cared about them, because this person reached out, right? Added value, and now they came in. So you could see a lot of these new people that we didn't know much about sharing their talents. And it was funny to hear them sing, or they'd share songs that they made up, or poems, but you could just see, again, high performing teams, right? How do you get these teams, or how do you lead and get people to work together for a common goal, right? Which is beneficial for all. So I don't know if I could nail a talent per se, but the ability for them willing to share what they have with other people and share their talents instead of hide it under the bushel. That is what I really saw as far as the big group went. no more hiding, right? It was giving freely, abundant mentality, as opposed to, yeah, I'm kind of scared and afraid what people are going to say if I do this. So that is what I saw, I think,
So
through that group was
one
fascinating.
of Todd's talents is being able to see big picture and seeing how things are all working together. But I was actually a part of this as well, and I was able to see individual talents and how they were shining, because you had one person that was really good at reaching out and coming up with activities. Well, another one was good at coming up with activities on the Zoom line, and they would have these prizes that they would give, and they would have these activities that we would do and games, and it was just amazing the things that they would come up with. And then you had someone else who was like, oh, I know this person sings and I know this person sings, and so they would come and share their talents. And it wasn't like they were doing it for themselves, but they wanted to help the whole group, and they knew that they were contributing to this wonderful feeling that was coming about in the group. I just loved that experience. So I was really grateful that you gave this Be Significant challenge to this group that was really struggling with their morale, with their relationship with God, trying to understand why they were there in this existence. And, it was a pretty brutal time for them, but you helped them to see light in all of that. I love that.
Well, I was going to say that what is cool too is what me and Mom were talking about in our previous episodes of this, is that in order for your subconscious to like change, you have to have a really strong feeling for it to impress on your subconscious mind. And they say that the highest vibration of like a positive vibration that you can have is gratitude. And so by serving people, that's like the best way to get into your heart coherence. And your heart coherence is where you will learn what your purpose is in life and stuff like that. So I think that's really interesting that this book just ties in perfectly with that. It hits on the highest possible vibration you can get, and it just keeps you there. And that's why you can find your purpose in life.
Yeah, I love that.
And I think that's good, Kiara. The reason we wrote it, right? You'll see in the book, you've got 30 days, right? Half of the page is to write what happened, so you can kind of journal through it, but the other half is specifically, what are you grateful for? So again, your vibes, you're talking about tying these together, understanding gratitude. And before long, instead of being grateful for 2 or 3 things, you'll find that there's 10 things and 15 things, and it really starts to open up your mind, give you that hope, and again, keep that vibration going, right? Keeping you moving in the right direction, wanting to accomplish what God sent you to do, right? Your purpose. So that's a great point.
Yeah, well, it's taking you away from yourself, and it's helping you step outside it's helping you to find those vibrations in something besides just yourself, which we talked about also, is that, most people who ask themselves, what's my purpose in life? What's your why? What's your why? Then it's usually deals with some type of like helping other people somehow, regardless of what way it is. And so what better way to start trying to find your purposes by helping people.
Yeah, so for our readers out there, you can get this book on Amazon, Pay It Forward to Find Your Purpose in Life by Todd Christensen. But for those of you who may not be able to get it, also, I just want to explain exactly what it is. It is 30 days to be able to grow closer to your Creator. Now, if you don't believe in God, it's a higher universal power, So we say, this book says pray for 30 days, and you can, if you don't want to pray, you can connect to your heart space and ask that question, and ask, is there someone that I can help today? And throughout this challenge, Todd, he explains it in this book really well, but he also has a beautiful story, a personal story that I absolutely love. Because it's a personal story. So you talk about our daughter JJ with disabilities and how she impacted your life. But then throughout the book, you can see that there are ideas of how you can help people, and then there's a journaling part and a gratitude part, like Todd was saying about. So you have quotes, uplifting quotes that are in there as well. So it's a fun laid out book. I think it's a treasure that people, if they really take the challenge and go through it, that they will. It's a book that they can keep with them and look back on many years later, and it could be life changing if they really took the challenge.
It will be life changing if you do that 30 days. That I can guarantee it will change your life and your relationships with family, friends, and people that you thought you'd never have relationships with.
So my friends, viewers,
Mm.
we would not have brought my dad on this episode if we didn't know that this book challenge could have so much impact on you. That is, if you truly accept the challenge and complete the 30 days. We could talk to you about changing your life all day for 100 days. But if you don't actually apply it, then change will never happen. So this is where rubber meets the road, and we are very excited for you. We are actually going to be kicking off a Be Significant challenge to do all together 1 week from today. So I will figure out when that day is, and I will put it in the description. But even if you see this video after we start it, we would be happy for you to join us at any time in this journey. Also, something exciting is we are going to be giving away 3 books of the Be Significant challenge to our viewers. So the way to enter the drawing is by commenting on the video, and in 1 week from today we will choose our 3 winners. So comment away, and we're excited to be joining you on this challenge.
We are excited. Please don't forget to comment to enter that drawing to get your free copy and join the challenge with us. We would love your updates. And if you're liking these videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and see you next week during our Be Significant challenge.
Yay! Thanks for coming, Dad.
You're welcome.
Much.
All right. Bye.